Hey, what's happening YouTube? Thanks for stopping back into the channel today here with the Rust Belt Mechanic, guest starring
Captain Ron, the Master Apprentice.
Master Apprentice over here. Today we're going to be getting into something special. I know you guys know that I do a lot of stuff with Raptor liner. I've done the truck, I've done my bumpers, we're getting into a lot of other things, the trailer floor, and today we're going to do something tool related for all you tool nuts out there. We've got Raptor lining for Captain Ron's tool cart. Yep. So we're going to get into the how-tos, so stay tuned. So Captain Ron has this fancy Snap-on cart, and I know you can't see all of it because he's already actually done take the time to already prep it for me. So,
yep.
You know, that's turned out pretty nice. So we're going to get into the prep process and everything today on this one, on how we're going to make it actually last. I know you guys, if you haven't already seen my toolbox tour video, as well as the video I did on my bed-lined Snap-on top for mine and how it failed. The Snap-on top and how it failed. Hopefully you guys check that one out, and that's what I'm hoping that we do a little bit better on the results-wise from Raptor liner for this one. So first off in the process, we have the top that we are going to be able to need to clean. We're going to get some alcohol to make sure we remove all of everything that is nasty and grimy and nasty coated on top of here to get it all cleaned off. Then what we're going to do is we're going to grab some Scotchbrite, and we need to give this thing a nice scuffed up surface to be able to adhere to. Yep. Now, I know it's going to be kind of hard to do. You got your fancy new toolbox, and you're going to take some sandpaper and Scotchbrite to it, right?
It's got a little bit of spray over from something over here. It's kind of scuffed up already, so I'm not. If it was like a brand new, shiny, you know, never been tortured before top, it might be a little bit harder. But this one's got a little bit of wear and tear on it already.
But Captain, in general, you're gonna wear and tear on stuff.
Oh hell yeah!
Like that's just your nature.
Yeah. I mean,
if you guys don't know, we know him as the hammer here in the shop.
Oh yeah.
Because non-stop, he's got either a regular hammer or an air hammer going all the time.
I'm pretty sure a hammer's in here right now, to be entirely honest.
Exactly.
So
let's go ahead over and we're gonna clean this off, and then let's grab our Scotchbrite and show the guys what kind of surface we want to have on this to be able to adhere to.
Okay, let's get to it.
So now that we've got all of the grease and stains and everything off of the surface altogether, that's the main part of this one. Now we've got our standard Scotchbrite here, type A, very fine Scotchbrite. We're not going to be getting to the point of taking any kind of paint all the way down to steel or anything like that. We just need a surface for the Raptor lining to adhere to. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our Scotchbrite and we're just going to start going over in these areas, and we'll kind of zoom in here after I give a good little, you know, scuffing to on what the difference is going to be.
Scratches!
I know, Captain Ron is itching on the inside right now.
I feel like I should do this. Like,
okay.
I should hurt my own.
Here,
I
now let's see
I should hurt my own kid.
Of what we have in the actual top, the painted surface, and then this is the scuff surface that we're looking for to be able to adhere to. So we're going to let him kill the rest of the surface.
I'm sorry.
And then we'll get to the next step. The pain is real, is it not?
This is like the equivalent of like beating your kids.
All that dust. All that dust right there. So now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get all of this cleaned off one more time. So we'll go through the cleaning and spray it off with the alcohol, brake clean. We'll get it all cleaned off here. All right, I think we are satisfied on how clean the top is. Now we're going to get to the adhesion portion. All right, so now that we've got the surface all nice and cleaned off, we're ready to put our adhesion promoter on there. What we're going to use is the U-Pole grip number 4. Same stuff I use to be able to put adhesion promoter for sticking on my bumpers for doing the Raptor lining on this one. This is also put out by U-Pole, the same people who make the Raptor liner, so that's going to work really well with what we're doing today. So now with the grip number 4, we're going to do a nice even coat along the whole thing, and then after we get our coat on here, we're going to let this thing flash and set up for about 10 minutes. We don't need to do a real heavy coat because we're not getting into any kind of creases or anything like that. We just want to give a good adhesion promotion for the Raptor liner. So we'll get this thing sprayed on here. All right, so now while that is setting up, we've got Captain Ron with the actual Raptor coating here. We're gonna show how easy this one is. We've been shaking it for about 2 minutes, so that's the first thing that you're gonna have to do to this product. Give it a good shaking up for about 2 minutes, and then on the top of the can, you see this little red button dot right here. You're gonna pull that one off, Captain. And then flip your can over with the red dot. No, don't even put it in there. Flip the can over, and then go ahead and attach it in there to that little puncture point. Now, what you're not gonna wanna do is hit it with the palm of your hand or anything like that, or push it. You're gonna wanna push it nice and evenly against a flat surface, like your toolbox, until you feel it physically pop. So it took a little bit there.
Yep.
Now, how you know that it's done correctly is you're going to lift it back up, and this is gonna be spring loaded. So it's gonna actually spring back out. Once it's sprung out, you know that it is punctured. And now you're just gonna shake it again for another 2 minutes straight to get the two pieces of the chemical reaction going in there. That's what makes the Raptor liner able to harden.
2 minutes later.
All right, so while he's shaking here, another thing to remember, what we're gonna be using this on, we're gonna be spraying this at about 2 feet away from our surface. So we'll show that when we hop over to it. But the other thing to remember is these cans have a shelf life now, once they're punctured, of about 1 hour. So that's all you have to work with this. You don't wanna waste the time or anything with it. So you got 1 hour to be able to use this stuff. And what we're gonna be doing also is we're gonna be putting on 2 coats. So we're gonna put the first coat on, and then we're gonna let it flash up for about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes or so. And then we're gonna put our second, little bit thicker coat onto the box. So I think we got her shaken up really well, and let's hop on over to the material. All right, now we've gone ahead and rolled it outside so we're not getting our paint and stuff all over the place. Another thing I really recommend for you guys to do is test this stuff on another surface before testing it on this, so you know what the spray pattern and everything is going to be like, because this stuff does not spray like normal spray paint. It comes out with a pretty good force. So we're going to show you exactly how it does and why we need to step back about 2 to 2.5 feet when we spray this. And you're going to be spraying it also in little bursts. Now, if you guys watched the video when I did my bumpers, I did a pretty thin coat to it because I just wanted to get more uniformity. When I did the mirrors on my truck, when we did that process, we did it a little bit thicker because we knew that was going to be getting hit a whole lot more often. So I think what we're going to do this time is we're going to do a little bit more of a thickened coat. So 2 even small coats on the first one is going to be good for setting up our initial coat. Each spray pass, I'm going to be overlapping it about 50% until we get a nice uniform coat to it. We don't want to have any kind of bubbles or any kind of big splatters to it, so that's why I say that you need to step back a bit to be able to get it nice and evenly on there. Don't want any tiger striping, that's why I said to overlap each one of your sprays about 50% to it. So, what do you think, Captain? Looking pretty uniform for the first coat?
I think so. I mean, I don't see any spots that are like, you know, clumped up or anything like that. It looks pretty uniform.
Like professional?
I mean, it could be.
All right, we're gonna let this flash up for about 20 minutes or so, get it to its nice tack point, and then we'll be getting back into the second coat. to make sure our nozzle doesn't mess up. We're going to hold it upside down, clear the nozzle out for us. All right, we've got a good tack to it, how you can tell. In one of the overspray areas right down here, we've got just barely a tacky amount, so that's what's going to be ready for round 2 here. So about the same thing. Also, what you want to make sure of doing is how much you have left in the can, because if you only have one can, you don't want to be running out like 3/4 of the way through your top and then have an uneven surface texture all the way through it. So make sure you pay attention to where you're at on the can. There it is. That's the end of the can. That's all she wrote. Now let's look at the detail here before it gets too much dried off, so you guys can see some of the texture to it. A nice even texture all the way across. No striping or anything. We had good overlay on there. And then the outside edges also looking pretty good on it. I like the texture there. We had good even coverage, man. Pretty impressed. It's looking good.
So obviously you guys can see that we're doing this outside, and I want to show you guys the reason why. So I'm about 2 or 3 feet away from the toolbox, and I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but like all this area here where it was overspray and just kind of drifting over, my feet are like sticking to the concrete.
Yep, the overspray tackiness of this stuff is legit. So make sure you're paying attention where you're spraying this, because there will be a good 3 to 4 feet of overspray just in the sticky material of it wherever you're looking at. Another thing that you want to take into account here is how Captain Ron nicely taped up our hinge here on the back. And that's because it is a moving part. This substance here is a very hardened surface once everything is set up and dried. So the harder things are, usually the more brittle they are, less prone or more prone to breaking if they're actually like flexing and moving. So good thing is to tape up over the hinge and the moving parts. So now what we're going to do is we're going to want to peel our tape surface off of here, just at least along the back side of here, to make sure we have our line that's not going to make any kind of a crazy line. The rest of our tape and stuff on the front, it's fine because it's actually under the lip of the toolbox, so not that big of a deal on that one, but we want to make sure we get our tape line off of the back here at the hinge. Very, very nice. Now the thing you're going to want to be careful of now is we've got about an hour of general setup time before it's going to be okay to the touch, and then about 24 to 48 hours for a full cure on this top. I would say at least wait 1 to 2 days before using this as a, you know, hardened top to it. All right guys, well that's about it for this part of the project. We have gone through about the 1 hour cure portion, so it's okay to touch and feel and see. And what do you think? How well it turned out there, Ron?
Dude, I think it turned out really well. Like, it is probably on par with the same material that Snap-on's using on their box tops.
I think it looks pretty legit.
Like, it's got a little bit more texture, I think, than what the actual bedliner tops do. And that's just because I think, I have a feeling like they do the bedliner and then they put some sort of like clear coat over that bedliner. Not a huge amount.
It does kind of seem like that.
But like there's a lot, it's a lot smoother of a texture on the worktops than what this is. But this is pretty nice. I mean, it feels nice and durable, and it's not too...
It's got more of a grippy texture.
It does. It doesn't have like a huge like a grit like what your truck does.
Right.
But it's definitely textured enough that like if you put something on here, it's not going to move.
I think it turned out really nice.
I think it turned out really, really nice.
Yep, it's pretty awesome. Now, this kind of a project is pretty darn easy. Fairly inexpensive compared to doing, you know, one of the tops through, like the rubber top that I have on my cart through Snap-on. I'm pretty sure that top was like
$150,
$130, $140, something like that. So he could always do to that if this ends up not working. But in this one, We've got about 18 bucks in the U-Pole grip number 4, and then the can of Raptor liner spray. Those cost about $30 for a can, right around there, which, you know, it's a little costly, but when you're talking about a project that's going to turn out this nice and this lasts for this long, I think that's pretty cost effective. Now, where can you find this stuff? You can go over to raptorliner.com. I'll make sure to put the link to that one in the description below, to where you guys can buy this and any of the other U-Pole Raptor products like I've used on the channel before. Well, that's about all the information we've got for you guys today. I appreciate Captain Ron for hopping on with us and
no problem,
giving us a nice little toolbox to be able to shoot and make a pretty nice project out of.
Yep. And I'm going to be doing update videos over on my channel. So if you guys want to see the progression of how this lasts, come, you know, a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month down the road, make sure you guys hop over to my channel. It's called the Master Apprentice. Give me a follow. That way you guys can check out what's going on with this, because I do plan on doing update videos with this, just to show how much it lasts over the course of time and over the use.
There we go, guys. There we go. Make sure you go give him a follow. Make sure you also subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on that bell notification so you get notified when I come out with cool, awesome content, just like this one here today. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and as always, you guys stay awesome.
See you next time.